Alright, war number 2, and we're going in with a very similar team and a very similar path to last war. We have rank 5 Ascended Claire, rank 2 Elsa, and rank 2 Emma Frost to replace Anti-Venom from last war. Emma's going to get 2 fights, and I'm really excited to show off those, because it's the first time I've taken Emma to war in season. And we're going to start off against this CGR that I fight a lot, and pretty easy fight as long as you know what you're doing. But it's not going to go my way. I am going to mess up pretty badly in this fight, and it's not going to be good, but I need to cycle to my Incinerate Curse. I'm going to start doing that, because throwing the SP2 in the Bleed Curse like I did originally did absolutely nothing, so that was not a good decision, but it's okay. Here, he has 4 Judgments on me, so I need to make sure he doesn't charge a heavy, and doesn't throw an SP2, except for the fact that Mystic Dispersion gave me too much power, and now I'm not throwing my own SP2, meaning this SP3 is going to push him to his SP2. And I'm about to start panicking because that was not supposed to happen, and now I have to deal with the fact that he could start degenning me once he throws his special attack here. So he finally throws it. Luckily, I didn't let him stack too many Furies, so that degen isn't that bad. But also, it's definitely some damage I don't want to be taking, so at this point, I'm going to be throwing some heavy attacks, getting myself back to 2 bars. I have enough prowess right now where I'm not too worried about that part. Throw the SP2, buff immunity triggers, and he's at 1% now. He throws his SP1, and I'm going to get parried. And now I'm going to lose more health. He's at 2%, I'm like, and then I miss a parry, somehow. And I'm like, dude, you are at 1%, and I was at like 70. Why couldn't you have just died? Okay, so I just... Luckily, I'm not dead, but that's a lot of potions I just cost myself, but whatever. It's okay, we didn't die, that's what matters, so... Alright, next up we have Elsa Bloodstone versus Void on Node 13. It's a really easy fight, because she just kills him in like 20 seconds, so there's not too much to worry about. I just need to be aware of insult to injury, and then my parries are going to be fine. And, well, unless insult to injury catches them, I mean. So, you can just see how much burst damage we're doing. We're doing 13k light attacks and a bunch of red numbers, so that's pretty cool. I'm going to go for an evade there, and he's just going to die in just a second. There we go. So, how many seconds was that? 24 seconds, man. That's ridiculous. So, now we're on path 1 against this Gladiator on Node 19. Really easy fight. This is another one where I want to use my Incinerate Curse. And I want to use the Incinerate Curse just so I can freely block his SP2s. Just in case I don't have enough prowess to constantly dex them. I do want the insurance policy of being able to block them, and then he's not stacking up a lot of indestructibles, because I obviously don't want Incinerates through my blocks, so I will try to dex them if I can, because I know the timing pretty well. I just don't want to pay the consequences of losing a bunch of prowess and him gaining indestructible. So we are gonna block the final hits, but I will dex the second one. So we're gonna go for another SP2 here, and you can just see he's melting. Like she's doing plenty of damage on her special 2s. He throws his SP1, but my buff immunity catches his unstoppable, so that's not a big deal. And then he's gonna die on this SP2. So really easy fight for Claire there, and I only have one more path fight. And that is going to be against Kraven on Node 28. My officer gave me notes for this fight because he asked me how confident I was taking Kraven. I was like, dude, this is such a joke fight. And my notes were just don't die. And I was like, okay, can do, Mr. Krabs. So we're going to go here, and we're going to parry heavy. We're going to parry heavy again. I noticed, okay, we're not going to parry heavy once more like I would like to, just because of his passives making debuffs last shorter. So we're going to anti-bait his special 1 here. He throws a heavy attack. We go in for the counter. We throw the SP2, and then we're going to get a 120k crit at the end. And that was a 23-second fight, so pretty nice there. Next up, we have Super Skrull to start my minis on Node 38. And I'm going to activate a invulnerability boost here just to be a little bit safer against this guy. Because aggression prowess is going to be really bad if I do happen to take a hit there. That is the big threat in this fight. Right back at it isn't too bad. And Ebb and Flow knockdown really isn't bad at all because we have a Wags pre-fight on this matchup, so that's nice. Gonna go for a parry heavy there to get rid of the protection, and then I'm gonna go for my SP2. We're gonna do a good bit of burst damage. The burst damage does not scale with that Fury because Claire's SP2, the red numbers in the Incinerate Curse do not scale, unfortunately. But here I'm trying to get him to block. He finally does, but now he's stacking on a bunch of Indestructibles. I'm like, oh, that's way too many Indestructibles for me to feel comfortable with. Not Indestructibles, Prowess. That's what I meant. He's stacking up way too many Prowess, and I'm not feeling great about it. Luckily, I got rid of a bunch of his buffs, and I'm at my SP3 now, which is going to do a lot of damage, but I would like to get rid of some Prowess before that. So I throw my SP3. It's going to do a big chunk of damage because I was at max Clairvoyance charges, and then we tap him. He is all the way down to 40%. So we're definitely getting there. We still need to bait out his special attacks. We're losing a lot of Prowess because he doesn't feel like throwing them too often. We have the Falter on me. I'm going to get rid of it there. And I'm still baiting a special attack. I'm like, dude, stop letting your Prowess stack up so much. I just want those Prowesses to go away so I don't feel bad about a misstacks. In the fight, I probably should have noticed that I was running an Indestructible boost, so getting hit by an SP1 would not be the end of the world, as I wouldn't take damage from it. Still, in the moment, I was a little bit worried, so. We threw the SP3, but he did have the protection up, so this is not going to do a lot of damage, but my next combo will, so it doesn't even matter. We just dex his heavy attack, and then he dies with a combo and a relic after, so. There goes that Super Skrull. Was a little bit worried about that fight. Probably the fight I was most worried about this war, but Claire did a really good job. And the Wagnito pre-fight definitely helped out a lot. So, next up, I have Emma Frost versus Kate Bishop. This fight actually did not go as well as I was hoping it would, because I didn't take into consideration the root node too much. Not like I should have been, because I want to stack Tactic Prowess early. But by doing that, that means I'm not really hitting her, so I do have to deal with the roots, so that was a bit of a tactical error on my part, but luckily we're going to be fine because Emma can take so many blocked hits in her diamond form, it really doesn't matter because she's so tanky. So we're going to go for an SB1 dex here, and then I'm going to do it again, I think. I wanted to hit her block there, but she dashed in. It's okay, though. We dex the SB1 once again, and I'm going to hit her block a bit, gain some more tactic prowess, and then we're going to go for a combo into my SP2. We throw it, and we get a crit. That's 116k, which is nice. First hit didn't crit, but that's okay. I'm going to get rooted again, and I'm going to go for a parry heavy, but I do not have the reach for that, so my indestructible goes away, but even if I didn't have the indestructible diamond form, it makes me take very little damage anyway. So here I'm just like, okay, relic into SP2, she dies, so we're immune to the bleed from the relic, which should give me a precision, but I think it's bugged right now. Anyway, so that fight is over, went really quick and really easy, and last up I have Serpent on node 43. I feel like I've taken this fight before. I think I've taken Serpent on every single hazard shift node on the map, even one on the path. I haven't done all of the ones on all of the path ones, but I did do a hazard shift Serpent on a path fight before. But anyway, this one means I need to stick to my Incinerate Curse, and then I have a Odin pre-fight, allowing me to not have to worry about a shock phase. Now, of all the hazard shift nodes on the map, I do believe this is the hardest one to fight Serpent on, and that is because of two things. One, the burst damage Curse is probably Claire's most useless pre-fight for fighting Serpent, because not only does he reduce the damage significantly because it's an instant effect, but also because of the fact that he has resistance up, and I would also love to be either power controlling or healing constantly in this fight. I don't really need the extra damage because this is going to be a long fight regardless. I would like to either control him better or feel safer with my bleed curse, so he's stacking up a lot of aggression prowess there. It's really eating up my block. That's another reason this is the hardest hazard shift node for Claire to handle against Serpent. But luckily, We're doing fine now. Another annoying thing about this fight, which is a bit of a small annoyance, but it does have more of an impact than you might think, and that is inequity. If the opponent is running inequity and I have a billion shock debuffs on myself, that's a significant damage loss I'm feeling. So, while I am getting healing from those shocks, despair is also lowering that healing, and inequity is making the fight last longer, so I'm doing fine controlling him. I'm keeping my tactic prowess up to handle his power gain. We can also get rid of it by both nullify and buff immunity. So as my health gets lower, I'm going to get to the point where I'm going to intentionally throw an SP3 and intentionally go for a death immunity. And what the death immunity is going to do is it's just going to allow me to get a little bit of health back. And also, by throwing the SP3, that is my biggest damage source in the fight. So once I hit max clairvoyance charges and the SP3 is going to hit maximum damage, that is what I want to do. I want to get that death immunity up and throw the massive SP3. And you can see here my health is getting lower and lower. He might have the Courage Mastery active, because I feel like I'm even taking even more damage with my health being super low. But luckily, we're doing fine. We're going to throw my SP3 right after he throws this SP1. I was at 3% health because he stacked up a bunch of prowess. I'm going to throw my SP3, and then after this, after it does all the damage, I'm going to intentionally trigger death immunity, and then we're going to see what happens. So we tap him, he's down to 7% health. I'm ready for his death immunity trigger. And my own death immunity didn't trigger. And I was in complete and utter shock when this happened. And then I realized that I talked a lot about the nodes in this fight, but the one node I didn't talk about was Insult to Injury, which is the node that reduces my ability accuracy per debuff on me. And going into the fight, it didn't register in my head that I would need to worry about that, because I thought that my death immunity wouldn't matter with the ability accuracy reduction. Which, if Herc's immortality gets prevented by Assassin, I don't know why Claire's death immunity wouldn't get affected by Insult to Injury, so I definitely should have been aware of that. But also, I still had a significant chance of triggering the death immunity because I only had one debuff on myself. So, in hindsight, all I had to do to prevent that was try to go for a reparry here instead of trying to trigger my own death immunity. If I went for a reparry, I get the parry, I combo in, I throw an SP2, buff immunity catches his death immunity, and he's dead. That's literally all I had to do. But because of the fact I just always assumed my own death immunity would work, I didn't even go for the reparry. So yeah, we revive and he dies, like, instantly, but my Deathless Season is over just like that. And I was in a terrible mood the entire rest of the day, because I was so pissed from that death. So, yeah, it's a big shame, especially when I did have a pretty decent chance to still survive. It is what it is. That's still the least favorite node I like fighting Serpent on for Hazard Shift, so I can fight him on any of the other two, because if you fight him on 44, power control him to death. You fight him on 45, you have enough lifesteal to where you never worry about your own health. And then I would have an Odin, so anyway, it's unfortunate, but it's okay. I'm still doing pretty well in the season, I guess, so but our alliance is not doing very well this season. We've lost our second war in a row. This one was a massive loss. We did give up a little bit at the end because of a couple of mistakes, but that's okay. Because a lot of those deaths didn't matter. Even if we lose by one death, it's like the same as losing by 30. Whatever. Anyway, a loss is a loss, and Deathless Season's over. But you know what? I felt really bad yesterday, but I don't feel that bad now. It is a really unfortunate circumstance, but I definitely should have known better. I don't really know how I'm going to take that fight in the future, now that I know that I can't rely on death immunity, because with aggression prowess, I do actually need that. and I don't really know what else we send to that fight, because I don't think we have very big Colossuses. I might take it with my Claire again. I don't know. I'm kind of just rambling at this point, but thank you guys so much for watching. Sad to say that the season's over, but you know what? I'm still happy and excited for the rest of the season, so I will see you guys in the next video.